Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the truth. Cause the times is the man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
The man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
The man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to the man,
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you have shown up. Okay, today we are at the 8th of the month of September. Our sun sign is in Virgo. Virgo is represented by the Hermit. Hermit, gray, neutral, balanced path, right in the middle, holding the lantern high for others to see. It's an earth sign, so it's dealing with things of the earth. So he's holding the lantern up so there can be progress made on the earth. So the Hermit brings wisdom to the earth, okay? Brings wisdom to the earth, information. We need information. That's what this is all about, information, the light. So we need information. We're having an information war down here on earth. So this is a time for us as teachers to share with each other what it is that we know. To share what we know, okay? Now our moon sign is in Cancer. Cancer is represented by the Charioteer. Why? Because Cancer is a water sign. Water is emotion. So with all of the emotions, there needs to be a protection. Therefore, the Charioteer, which represents us, the conscious part of ourselves, needs to have some sort of protection against this. Therefore, they're the armor of God, wearing the protection to protect us from all of the additional emotions. That way we can move down the path of life smoothly. We could solve the dualities of life because we're allowing spirit to flow through us, and as spirit flows through us, everything moves forward smoothly. Our emotions are nice and calm because they're not out of whack. Okay, the armor protects us. So we've got this aspect and this moon sign going on throughout the course of today. So some of the aspects we're looking at, 110, the healer, Chiron, is in the mix here. So Chiron is wanting to have some healing. 1:53 a.m. we had some lessons that needed to be learned, unexpected changes, Uranus. And then at 2:53, well, this gets in the afternoon. So there might have had some dreams. So maybe examine some of your dreams, see what they were about. We had a square, lesson, something to be learned there. Something to be learned maybe that we hadn't expected. This is unexpected changes, surprises, okay? Now as we get into the afternoon, we have these surprises. We have a trine, it means something good and positive between these energies, and Mars. So Mars is going to be in a trine with Uranus, and Mars wants to bring a lot of energy to a situation. A lot of energy. And if it's channeled properly, which it has the opportunity to with the trine, then there's a lot of opportunity to really put that into something new, something different, something unexpected. So be open to the surprises today has to offer. And then as it gets into the evening, 8:28 p.m., last phase of the moon being in Cancer. And so we could see right here, here's our moon, right? There's Cancer, the house of Cancer. So it's going to move out, and it's going to move into the next one over, which is Leo. Which is Leo right here, okay? So it's going to make that transition. And as it makes that transition, it's an expansion of Saturn. So discipline, okay? Because Cancer is going to be in there. So as we're going through this last phase here, there's a discipline that's being required, or a focus. to really focus what's going on here with our home. Cancer's the home, with our feelings, with ourselves, with the feminine aspect of ourselves, with our mothers, anything of that nature, subconscious related. We need to really apply some discipline to that, focus it as we go forward of maybe what it is we want to create, the environment we're looking to create. Okay? And then as we get at 9:36 p.m., we leave the void of course phase and we enter into the next moon, which you're well familiar with this by now. It is Leo. Leo is represented by the card of strength. Card of strength tells us that the feminine aspect of ourselves needs to tame the masculine aspect. And by taming the masculine aspect, we're then able to go forth and be able to be more effective. Because this energy, as we know from studying the Kabbalion, that the masculine energy gives off. So if this masculine energy is just giving off, and it's not paying attention to it or not being aware of what it's doing, it can be a bit out of control. Okay? Therefore, the concern with anything that's related to Mars and the energy of Mars is that we're able to take that energy and focus it some way, channel it, harness it. And that's what we're doing. We're harnessing the power. And the secret here is that the power that is within us, there's a great power called the Kundalini energy that moves through all of our chakras. And we need to really allow that to flow through our heart chakra first and foremost, because when we do, then everything becomes colored with love, okay, compassion, all those positive qualities we want our energy to go out. But we have to have the female part of our sife, the feminine aspect, the purity of our soul, okay? So that's going to bring in fire. So we're going to move from a water to fire unconsciously, from emotions to ideas. So all of those emotions are going to stir up, and then we're going to go to ideas. And those ideas then are going to want to find a way to express themselves through the sun sign, the hermit. Okay? So when you have the sun sign is telling you what is going on that month. And the moon signs are showing you the individual energies that are wanting to express itself through that conscious mind. Because this is the conscious mind, this is the unconscious. They work together. One feeds the other and back and forth. Okay? So that's what's going on there. And we go over now to the Jewish calendar. Jewish calendar. We are in the last week of the year before we go into the new year. Today is the 24 Elul. This is a time of forgiveness. It says the last month of the Jewish year, Elul, is traditionally a time for introspection and stock taking, a time to review one's deeds and spiritual progress over the past year to prepare for the upcoming Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's a month of divine mercy and forgiveness. And our daily thought is worlds. Of everything God created in his world, not one thing was created without purpose. This comes from the Talmud. For every being there is a world different from the world of every other being. For what is a world? It is those things of which any single being is aware. So that whether it be a human being like yourself, a cow on a farm, or a leaf on a tree, it knows only of its creator itself and whatever is essential to its purpose, and that is its world. And in the world of each one of us, all that exists and all that occurs is that which is essential for us to complete our purpose, to fix up this world. For God does not create anything without purpose. On the Dreamspell Oracle, today is a two-tone day. So yesterday we began this path, the 13-day path or wave spell of synchronicity. So today we're at the second day. We've magnetized the energy. Now we're going to challenge. And our challenge is to look in the mirror at our own reflection. And as we look in the mirror to see our reflection, our guide for the day is the dog, love and loyalty. A reminder to love ourselves with whatever it is we see to learn to integrate all the aspects of who we are. Our hidden powers, our subconscious, and the power that we're able to generate from our subconscious. Our like-minded energies, the dragon, giving ourselves nurturance and shining bright integrity. This is our challenge for the day. The phrase is, I polarize in order to reflect stabilizing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of heart. You can see we're in this wave spell right here. Okay. And some of you have asked where we're going to be during some of these times coming up, September 23rd. So all we have to do is we look. We know that today we're at the 8th. So we're at the 9th tomorrow, 10. Then we go up here, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we'll be right here on the 23rd. Okay, we're going to be in this column here. All right, so you can count ahead. Just know where we're at today, and then just count the days. You go to the end of a column, start at the next one, and that way you can figure out any of these dates. Okay? And then you can also figure out your own particular day. If you just type in the day, the month, the day, and the year you were born and click reading, and the reading that will come up will be for your birthday, or the way it's called in this system, your signature, your galactic signature. The moon phase is just a little sliver, only 19% of the way till we get to the new moon. Solar wind is at 472.8 kilometers per second. Planetary K index, it's 2 at the moment, but it looks like we have a possibility we're going to jump up to a storm within the next 24 hours at a 6. And then we go over here to M-class flares, 1%. X-class, 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity looks like it's dropping in the mid-latitudes and dropping and also increasing. So, I don't know, maybe stable. You know, one thing that's always interesting when you look at all these different pictures, there's always different ways to look at things. Some ways people say, oh, see, you see the curvature of the Earth. Then you see other pictures like, you know, you don't see the curvature of the Earth. So it just depends, you know, when the picture's being taken. The camera, the lens, all sorts of ways in which to distort the image. Up in the sky tonight, the 8th, in the dawn of Wednesday the 9th, look for Venus and Mars. Below the waning crescent moon in the east, as shown in the right, and if you're out early enough before sunrise for the stars still to be visible, you get the winter preview. The sky displays the same stationary panorama as it will at dusk next February. Orion stands high in the south, Sirius and Canis Major sprinkled to its lower left, and Gemini occupies the high east. There you go. That's it. The cosmic weather. That's what we're dealing with today energetically, so plan accordingly. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you for that kind introduction. UFO news today. First story right here. Cloud orb shoots past passenger jet over Alaska, August 30th. Okay, we saw this story last week. And here's a couple different, this was just posted. Hey, it looks like Alaska is the place we want to catch a cloud orb. And then, of course, we see yesterday I was out taking a walk on the trails and a plane comes over. I was tapping on the time I felt the need to look up and caught the UFO flyby. Okay, that's one. This other one over here is also dealing with it. And UFO in the process of being slowed down 4 times speed. It might take a few minutes. Just uploaded. Heard a helicopter pass over my house. I went outside and saw this one. One slowed down. You can see a UFO come super close. like a buzzing a helicopter. Okay? He's trying to fix the frame here so you can see it better, but interesting. Enlarge the screen, slow it down, check it out, and I'm going to move on. Only a few UFO stories today. So, unknown lights filmed over Vallejo, California, 6th of September. New footage of a bright unidentified flying object flying across the night sky above Vallejo, California. This was taken on the 6th of September. My son captured a few minutes of video on his cell phone from a string of flashing lights that seemed to rise up from the direction of the Richmond Martinez refinery docks along San Pablo Bay, and then to pass over Cortines Bridge, and then to proceed along Cortines Strait. Doesn't capture what we saw with our naked eyes, which is that these lights were bright red, glowing like road flares as they created an orb effect. All right, let's get down here and look at the video. It's 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Okay. Okay. All right. You can just see them up there and don't know what they are, but you can see them blink in and out. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Okay, here's a UFO witnessed in day over Thailand, September 6th. There's our object in question right there. This video hit 1,894,718 views in just 2 days. This is a UFO because we can see that as it gets closer, it is slowing down. Also, right before it hits the ground, it begins to flame up. The large flame is a shield going up to help slow it down and protect it at the same time. This could be a crashed UFO near the city. In September 2013, a similar UFO crashed in Mexico. Many people assumed it was a meteor, but then they just went to recover the object and found it and a charred body near it. There was no ship, just a charred rock-like spacesuit and his charred rock-like body inside. Okay. So I was driving to work at 8:41. Meteor is heading from split to separate. Okay, we should be seeing it up here momentarily. Video is only 48 seconds in length. Perhaps the video could have started right when the UFO came in. Let's see, it's got to be here somewhere. Okay, I'm going to leave the link available as always so you can check it out. And one last story here. This goes back to 1954, and a woman named Jessie Roestenberg. She describes her UFO sighting. We have a video here for you to watch. 2 minutes 46 seconds, October 21st, Midlands. Jessie Roestenberg, then age 29, and her 2 children witnessed an object overhead, then hovering over her house. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to you. That's it with the UFO news today. Just kind of short, sweet, and to the point. I'm going to jump away with a song here, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about a few other things, as always. This is Confirm or Deny.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
supposed to know where they come from or where they go? And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Plausible deniability. That's their answer to all we think we see. So pay attention. Read between the lines. Changes are happening, revealing lies. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives?
All right, all right. Confirm or deny. True story. The song was written, I wrote the song, my band UFOetry, and I met somebody who was in the FBI, and I would ask them questions, and all they would say to me is, I can neither confirm nor deny. And so I would have fun with them because I would just ask them one question after another of questions I know that they weren't going to answer. And that was all that they kept saying. I can neither confirm nor deny. I can neither confirm nor deny. I found humor in it and wrote a song. So there you have it. All right, moving on. I am going to start this next chunk of news stories off with Brother Nathanael. I've had a few of you ask out there what's going on with Brother Nathanael, and I haven't had him or any of his video spots in a while, so today we're going to resolve that. This is Brother Nathanael. If he were president.
The very first thing I do as president is set up a new 9/11 commission and trash the old one. Richard Gage of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth would head it up. And after proving the attack was an inside job, the stuff will hit the fan. Israel's Mossad will be indicted for installing interior demolition devices in the towers, and Silverstein's Dr. Alibi will be debunked. Americans will then brand Israel as an enemy and the Jewish lobby as infiltrators. U.S. foreign policy will finally be freed up, and leaders hated by Jews, like Syria's Assad, who protects Christians, and Iran's Rouhani, who battles ISIS, will become our allies. We're now on our way to making America great again. 2, I'll end the Fed. Instead of gouging taxpayers with interest on the Fed's loans to the government and killing the purchasing power of the dollar, I will give Congress its constitutional right to coin our own money and put the Jewish banksters out of business. 3, I'll slap term limits on Supreme Court judges. Kagan, Ginsburg, Breyer, Sotomayor, all Jews, and the lapsed Catholic Kennedy, who all made sodomy the law of the land, will be sent packing. I'll sign an executive order challenging their homosexual law as a breach of judicial boundaries, since only Congress has the right to make laws. A smart Congress will follow and annul their ruling. 4, I'll nationalize the media. CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, and Fox will no longer be pouring out Jewish positions, but instead, voices from all directions will be sanctioned. I'll appoint to each channel directors from all sides of the political spectrum and have the government sign a non-interference agreement with them. We'll be on our way to a nation where the Jewish agenda no longer holds sway. Will my actions as president break Jewish power in America? You bet they will. Trump can't even come close.
All right. Good piece. Good piece. So that was if Brother Nathanael were president. Those are some good policies, good things that he would institute. All right. Then, of course, you mentioned 9/11. Date's coming up. And, of course, do you think I'm going to let 9/11 pass without talking about what happened on that day? If you think that's the case, you haven't been watching this show long enough to know me by now. Of course we're going to talk about 9/11 on 9/11. We might even start talking about it a day or two early, because that was a major event where we got fooled. Fortunately, most people have opened up their eyes to see. Unfortunately, there still are those who are blinded by what's going on out there. But times are changing, and another opportunity is upon us to help open up the eyes of those who aren't seeing properly. Now, here's a story that I thought should get some press. U.S. News says 29 holistic doctors, NDs, reported poisoned, some suffering life-threatening conditions, and they were at a conference. Criminal investigations underway. Our main source is U.S. News Report, hence the title. Several have asked me if this is a satire piece. Like all pieces I write, it is factual and very real. 29 holistic doctors, naturopaths, found lying in the garden, and some staggering, doubled over in pain, some in a life-threatening state from amphetamine poisoning. They were all in attendance at an alt-med homeopathic health conference. Doctors and practitioners, those who could speak, allegedly said they didn't knowingly take anything they took that would cause this. Some are hallucinating, and some still too sick to be questioned and hospitalized. 15 ambulances, along with a helicopter, were sent in to help the holistic doctors and naturopaths at the homeopathic conference, some found with life-threatening conditions, mainstream news reports. Depending on the news sources, these practitioners are called alt-med holistic doctors or naturopaths. But one thing is clear, the article states that the experts at the scene said it didn't appear they knowingly ingested what made them ill. Some were extremely ill when the 15 ambulances and helicopters flew in to the rescue. Questioning begins as soon as the persons are coherent and their statements are all usable, said a police official quoted by the news agency DPA. The psychedelic drug DO-E Aquatrust was banned in Germany last year. It has a euphoric effect like ecstasy and speed, belonging to the group of synthetically produced amphetamines. Okay, so just thought I'd bring that to your attention because there are, amongst the many issues taking place in the world, there are packs of people being killed off or threatened in this area and that area. It's happening all over. We just don't always hear about it. You know, there's been lots of doctors, other doctors, who have died. There's been a lot of NASA engineers and scientists who have died mysterious deaths. People connected with UFO incidences, the people that are connected with Obama that have been part of his past, they've disappeared. I mean, a lot of people are disappearing. A lot of people are disappearing, and we just need to be aware that there is an element out there that seems to be disappearing others. Now, September 23rd, coming up soon. Today is the 8th. That gives us a little less than 2 weeks. So, this is an article here about the 23rd, the mystery of September 23rd. Why does 923 keep popping up all over the place? What is going to happen to September 23rd? For months, there's been an incredible amount of buzz in the internet about the month of September, and in particular September 23rd. For a long time, I didn't pay much attention to all this chatter because I like to stick to things I can prove. In law school, I was trained to be very analytical and to greatly value hard evidence. If you follow my articles regularly, you probably notice those traits reflected in my writing. Well, today I'm going to discuss some things that I cannot prove. I'm going to share with you some things that other people are reporting, and I humbly submit them for your consideration. Personally, I do not know what is going to happen on September 23rd, but I have come to the conclusion that there are just too many coincidences to ignore. Ultimately, you need to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. There are a couple of things about September 23rd that we can say that we know for sure. First of all, Yom Kippur falls on that day. It is the most solemn of all of the holy days in the Bible. It is commonly connected with the judgment of God. Second, we know that Pope Francis will be arriving at the White House to meet with Barack Obama on September 23rd. Both of these events are not that unusual. Yom Kippur happens every year, and U.S. presidents meet with popes quite often in the past. So why is everyone getting so excited? Well, when you couple the amazing confluence of events that are going to witness in September 2015 with the unprecedented warnings and cryptic messages about the 3-day period of September 22nd through the 24th that seem to be popping up all over the place, it is enough to cause any rational person to stop and reflect on what might happen. If you're not familiar with that, what I'm talking about, I encourage you to watch the 3 YouTube videos that I've posted below. I wanted to make it clear I do not agree with everything in these videos. Again, I do not agree with everything in these videos, but all 3 of them do explain some incredible coincidences that I cannot explain away. In the first video, we see the numbers 923 just keep occurring over and over and over again during recent global catastrophes. In the next video, we see the date of 923 repeatedly embedded in popular movies and TV shows. Lastly, I want to share with you an extraordinary message by Jim Staley entitled September 23rd, 2015, The Convergence, in which he discusses all the things that are going to happen in and around that date. This video is 1 hour and 17 minutes. Did watching these 3 videos change your perspective on this? I have to admit that they shook me up, and when you combine all of this information with dreams and visions that people have been having about September, it starts to become difficult to ignore this phenomena. Just yesterday, I was alerted to the following message that Dr. Patricia Green released. This is a message from the Lord given to Patricia Green on July 29th. September 23rd is the day Obama makes a pact with the devil. It is not by chance that the Pope and Obama are meeting on the Day of Atonement. They will make a pact that will seal the fate of the United States of America. My vengeance will be poured out from this point forward. There is no turning back. Tell my people to draw close to me in the last days. Tell them to purify their hearts by washing of the water of my word. Tell them to ask my spirit to expose any wickedness within themselves so they can repent and be clean. I am returning for my bride without spot or wrinkle. I am coming for a pure bride. Only those who are purified by my spirit and my word are my bride. There will be no pretending when I return. Many will say, Lord, Lord, did I not prophesy in your name, heal the sick, cast out demons, and bring you to your people to your kingdom? And I will say to those who had impure hearts, get away from me, I never knew you. This is the time for self-reflection. If you judge yourself in this season to repent of your hidden sin, your sin will not be exposed to your shame. Now is the time to purify your hearts. Now is the time before my vengeance is poured out. Once again, I do not personally know what will happen on September 23rd. If I did, I would tell you. I'm just reporting what others are saying, and use your discernment. Decide for yourself if there is anything to all of this. But without a doubt, the month of September does appear to be extremely significant. In a recent article, I detailed some of the things that will be happening next month. September 14th, Rosh Hashanah. September 15th, Jade Helm military exercises scheduled to end. September 15th, the 70th session of the UN General Assembly begins. It is widely reported that France plans to introduce a resolution which will give the formal UN Secretary Council recognition to a Palestine state shortly after the new session begins. Up till now, the U.S. has always been the one blocking such a resolution, but Barack Obama has already indicated that things may be different this time around. If alarm bells are going off in your head as you read this, then you probably already understand how significant this event could potentially be. September 20th through September 26th, the World Week for Peace in Palestine, Israel, sponsored by the World Council of Churches. September 21st, the UN International Day of Peace. Could this be the day when the UN Security Council resolution establishing a Palestinian state is actually adopted? September 23rd, Yom Kippur. September 23rd, Pope Francis arrives at the White House to meet with Barack Obama. Some have suggested that the timing of this event is highly unusual. Francis is the 266th Pope who will be meeting with President Obama on the 266th day of the year, leading one of the internet preachers to wonder if something is being birthed on that day, since 266 days is the typical human gestation period from conception to birth. The Pope addresses a joint session of the Congress on the 24th, and then on the 25th to the 27th, the United Nations is going to launch a brand new sustainable development agenda called the 2030 Agenda. The following is an excerpt from an article that I just wrote about this insidious new plan. If you didn't like Agenda 21, then you're not going to like the 2030 Agenda. Next month, the United Nations is going to launch the 2030 Agenda at a major conference that will be held from the 25th of September to the 27th in New York City. The Pope is actually traveling to New York to deliver the address which will kick off the conference. Unlike Agenda 21, which primarily focused on the environment, the 2030 Agenda is truly a template for governing the entire planet. In addition to addressing climate change, it also sets ambitious goals for areas such as economics, health, energy, education, agriculture, gender, equality, and a whole host of other issues. You will see below the global initiative is being billed as the new universal agenda for humanity. If you're anything like me, alarm bells are going off in your head about now. September 28th, this is the date when the Feast of Tabernacles begins. It is also the date for the last four blood moons that fall in the biblical festival between the 24th that went from 2014 to 15. This blood moon falls on the very first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. It will be a supermoon and will be clearly visible from the city of Jerusalem. There are many that dismiss the blood moon phenomena, but we have seen similar patterns before. For example, a similar pattern of eclipses happened just before and after the destruction of the Jewish temple by the Romans in 70 AD. I want to make clear that I am not claiming that anything specific will happen on a particular date, but I am not claiming that nothing will happen on any of these days either. I do believe September will be an extremely significant month. Without a doubt, I do believe that you are currently living in the last days of normal life in America. So what do you think is about to happen? Well, interesting. So the point of this is to be aware, because awareness is half the battle once you are aware of something. Second thing is to not be afraid. Why? How could we hear all this and not be afraid? Just because that's what God said. Don't be afraid. Sure, we're going to be tested. But God said we don't have anything to worry about, so we just have to stand strong, and that's it. Stand strong. And there is others out there who will stand strong with you. I know that. Okay, here's another article about upcoming events. Did Isaac Newton predict a major turn in Bible prophecy? As world events appear to be spinning out of control, there's something else spinning at record-breaking speed at a laboratory in Switzerland that the biblical prophecy watchers are taking note. CERN, also called the European Organization for Nuclear Research, at its complex near Geneva, started its Large Hadron Collider in June for the first time in 27 months, and is scheduled to perform a controversial experiment in September, around the same time at the end of the biblical Shemitah on September 13th and the start of Yom Kippur on September 23rd. CERN was founded in 1954 and has played a role in plenty of the groundbreaking experiments, including the early research that led to the creation of the Internet. CERN scientists have said that the latest work involves trying to open up a black hole or hidden extra dimensions, of which some see as a potential portal to the underworld. Out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it, said Sergio Bertolucci, the Director of Research for Scientific Computing at CERN, at a press briefing in November 2009. The date, September 23rd, has become ubiquitous among the writings of many prophecy watchers. They don't know what if anything will happen on that date, but they question why it keeps popping up everywhere in movies and concerts, on the Pope's appointment calendar, in the statements of politicians, and in the calculations of a famous mathematician from the 18th century. Sir Isaac Newton, the English scientist and devout Christian, had a burning desire to study end times prophecies of Christ's return. He had a particular interest in Daniel's prophecies, and he put together calculations that point to a September 23rd, 2015 as a key date. Mark Bilt, author of Blood Moons, Decoding the Imminent Heaven Signs, said he's been aware of Newton's formula based on Daniel 9:25 since 2008 and believes it has merit worth studying. You take 49 prophetic years, or 17,640 days from the time when the Jewish people are restored to Jerusalem, which occurred on June 7, 1967, and you arrive at September 23rd, 2015. The Isaac Newton days, going from 67 to Yom Kippur 215, which leads us to 216, came from my original teachings back in 2008 that everyone is talking about, Bilt said. It lines up with the end of the biblical Shemitah and possibly proclaiming the year of Jubilee. Factor in the strange embedding of September 23rd, 2015 into dozens of Hollywood movies and music videos dating back to the 80s, and you have the recipe for fast-growing internet conspiracy, with questions frequently asked about the possible Illuminati influence. And then again, you have the arrival of Pope Francis at the White House, September 23rd, the first ever address to the joint session of Congress the next day. He's the 266th Pope who will be meeting with the President on the 266th day of the year. Okay, so some of the same. Right, a lot more to the article. Again, we're reminded no man knows the day or the hour. Collard Gallups, author of Final Warning, has also studied the claims of Isaac Newton and the various modern interpretations of end-time prophecies. He said it's crucial to remember that Jesus gave us a stern warning that no man knows the day or the hour concerning his return. I've taken that admonishment seriously for the entire 30 years of my ministry. I do not set dates, nor have I claimed to have infallible sights. But just as important, he says, is another admonishment given by Jesus concerning prophetic calculations. He quickly chastised the religious elite of his day for not knowing at least the signs of the prophetic times in which they were living. Because of their shortcomings in the matter, they actually missed the foretold coming of Messiah. Actually, I believe it is supremely important that God's people keep a sober eye upon the contextual prophetic interpretations and the current world events that may correspond to them. Okay, so a couple of good issues and points. Yes, we want to be aware of what is going on. Why? So we're aware of what's going on. But we want to look at it in the same way that we look at the weather, so we know how to operate throughout the course of the day, throughout the course of what is taking place. That's what this is all about. Remember, whatever is taking place within the mentalism, the mental world, the mental construct, that mind, that huge mind. So whatever's happening is a mental projection, a mental construct of some sort. And we all have the ability, because of our connections and correspondence to this, to be able to affect what's going on. So we use our mind, our mental power, to affect the vibrations of this world, of the events that are going to take place or that might, by sending higher consciousness vibrations into the mix. And as we do, we have the ability to change the polarity from one aspect to the other. We do. We don't have to wait for somebody. We can change the polarity from fear to love, from hate to love, from war to peace. We can change that because we go in here. But when we listen to television programming, when we listen to all the ways that we are programmed through the various media sources, we understand if you change the mind, a way a person thinks, you change their world, because we live in a world that is a huge mind. So what one thinks, as we are told from the various teachers who have been here, that what we think about is going to become reality, because that is the nature of the system. We're in a mental construct, the principle of mentalism. All is mind. And all is mind, and we have the ability to correspond, to affect that mind simply by affecting the vibrations by the way we think. Thinking is very important. We have to think for ourselves. And in thinking for ourselves, we make a difference. If we think the way they want us to, we're not going to make the change. We have to think for ourselves, so we rise above the situations and apply higher vibrations to the mix to make the changes. I know I kind of reiterated a couple of times, but it's an important matter because I'm asked often, how can we make a change? I hear these principles, but what can we do? We just make them practical in our lives. We make them useful by applying them for what they are. Just contemplate the idea that this is nothing but a mind. And somehow or another, we are aware of our presence in this giant mind. And go from there, play from there. Because in that mind, you have the ability to correspond with every aspect. And what you think adjusts and changes the vibrations of things around you. And those vibrations, you can then play with the play. Okay? Make it practical. I'll keep talking about it more and more as much as you'd like, whatever questions you have, because this is all important. This is a great time of change. We know that. Therefore, we have to make sure that we are taking care of our business. Because the business of the world and the propaganda of the world is too caught up in politics and economics and war and control that they're not worried and concerned about you getting it individually. But it starts with here, each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. All right, here's an article from In5D, Migraines, Anxiety, Dizziness, and Other Intense Energy Shift Symptoms by Michelle Walling. The waves of higher frequency energy are coming in at a faster pace, and this may be causing some common symptoms that can't always be explained by traditional doctors. As we begin to shift through dimensional levels, the body is having to adjust in vibration and morph into a new version of human. Some of these intense energies I have experienced recently are nausea, hot flashes, vertigo, exhaustion, long periods of sleep, memory loss, a loss for the right words. I talked about these in the video here. One thing I forgot to mention in the video from my personal journey is extreme hunger and hunger pains if I do not eat something soon. This could be the opposite for someone else, of course. The reason I forget is that I have a frequency shift symptom of memory loss. I also mentioned in this video that not everyone is the same, and some people may not be experiencing anything extreme at all. Some are able to sleep, have extreme colds, chillness, migraines, headaches, etc. A lot of people are reporting unexplained crying at the time, and I certainly encourage crying in order to let the energy flow through you. As I mentioned in the article, grounding is an excellent way to help alleviate these symptoms. I talk about a way to ground in my video. However, many grounded people may be trapping energy in the head, according to Dane Canfield, and this can cause extreme migraines. There's a great video on another method for grounding in order to keep from having pain in your head. Okay, and the meditation is one of the popular things described for energy shift symptoms and also to raise your vibration. Meditation can be as simple as spending a few moments with quiet time with yourself and clearing the monkey mind. And then finally get your body moving in order to help move energy. Again, the level of exercise is up to you. Okay, so it says at the end, check your electronics in your house, assess whether you can do without some of them. Wi-Fi, television signals, computers, all emit frequencies. Okay. All right, so good article. Good article here. You know, we're reminded it's just all energy. We're all going through this shift together. Everybody is feeling something together or different. So we do ourselves a service when we check in with others, when we see what's going on with others, because it helps us to understand, because again, we're all part of this experience. We're all part of this mental projection. So when we play and have fun with this, we learn more about ourselves and each other, because we all are another ourselves. In Lakesh, I am another yourself. That's what we are, all another versions of ourselves. All right, message today from SaLuSa. SaLuSa.
SaLuSa
September 4th, 2015, by Mike Quincy.
SaLuSa.
Dear ones, what a time you are having, as the messages you now receive seem to have a general agreement as to what is shortly coming up. This month is a turning point regardless of whatever takes place, as the incoming energies will to a greater or lesser degree affect all souls. In fact, it has already made its presence known by impinging upon your consciousness, with the result that many sense the changes within themselves. The higher energies are bringing love and ultimately a peace that you have only briefly known in your present dimension. The entities on your earth that cannot raise their vibrations will be guided to an appropriate level that suits their needs. Every soul will find itself at the right level for their future needs, and all things will be exactly as they should be. This is the time when the truth will gradually emerge until it becomes a crescendo of information that will make your head whirl. There is so much that has been presented to you as truth, yet is far from it, and intended to hold you in the clutches of the dark ones. Indeed, it has been largely successful, but with the expanding levels of consciousness, it can no longer prevent the truth from becoming known. It means that you are no longer automatically accepting whatever is placed before you, and are more discerning and asking questions. At the same time, many light workers are now stepping forward to share their knowledge with you. The truth can no longer be kept from you, and as you prepare to actively take part in the new age, many knowledgeable souls are making themselves known. Whilst the future is yet to be revealed, it will seem to you that utter confusion is all around you. This will remain for a while, but once the activities of the dark ones are curtailed, they will no longer be able to dictate to you or interfere. The new age changes will truly start, and in quick time you will see the benefits come in quick succession. You must remember that we are not reliant on your knowledge, but have advanced far beyond your present levels. However, you are part way there, as for some years now you have benefited from progress made as the result of new technologies that have come through us, or taken from sources other than your own. You are in exciting times that will lift you out of the lower vibrations, to benefit from new inventions and existing technologies that have been kept from you. Your needs will be fully attended to, and eventually you will have so much time for yourselves, without the necessity to give so much of yourselves simply to have a rewarding life. The dark ones never wanted you to become independent, and their devious plans have purposely kept you as slaves to your work and the money system. It will all change in due course, but first those most in need must be lifted out of poverty and want. It would seem to be a formidable task, but with our help you will be utterly and completely surprised how quickly it can be carried out. People must be prepared to change for the better, and any inconvenience will be well worth it. You will eventually become selfing and independent, as the days of giving so much of your time, simply to provide the necessities of life, will change. You will have more than ample time to follow your own pursuits, and venture to different parts of the earth for whatever pastimes you wish to enjoy. Be assured that the future is certain where these matters are concerned, and God has ordained it shall be so. Wars and any form of aggression will disappear, and people will live together harmoniously and in happiness. With permanent peace having been established, your space friends will make more contact and you will enjoy sharing activities with them. It will soon be time to meet other civilizations who also wish to share their knowledge with you, and some are already within your solar system waiting for the right time to openly introduce themselves. As an individual, your most important challenge is to keep focused on the light, and not be distracted by anything happening around you. There will be distractions, and false information will abound, as those who fear the changes cling desperately to what they know and feel comfortable with. At the same time, however, more facts will come to light as to how you have been manipulated by the dark ones. However, a number of you can now see clearly through the lies that have been told, and even are ready to awaken to the truth. It will spread like wildfire, largely by word of mouth, until the press and other sources are forced to report the changes that are occurring. The truth will sound right because intuitively you know what to accept, and much will be to your surprise and also welcome, as it will be for the good of all. However, be prepared to find your way through the mass of information that will be presented to you. When you look back, you will realize that there has been a deliberate plan to enlighten you that has taken many years to come to fruition. It has been slow to allow time for those who have needed much more help, to break out of the manacles that have held them back. Originally all souls came to Earth from high levels, and as they immersed themselves in the lower vibrations, they lost their contact with the light. You are therefore being given every help to remember who you really are, and make your return to the light as easy as possible. Your guides will help you on your way, so call upon them if you need their assistance. We can also help as we oversee developments to ensure your success and see you safely through this period. There is so much to look forward to, that will thrill you and make every effort you have made feel well worthwhile. You now face some interesting developments that shall be the commencement of many exciting changes, and leave you in no doubt that the new age is truly underway. You are rising up with Mother Earth, who has her own ascension to deal with and looks forward to carrying you up with her. Your actions that are positive will help speed up events, and ultimately it is the collective vibrations upon Earth that will determine when you ascend. You have come a long way to reach this most important time in your evolution, and the feeling of completion is growing as all souls have the opportunity to lift up. You can help each other through the more challenging times by keeping fear at bay, as the outcome is assured and will take you back to the light. I am SaLuSa from Sirius, and just one of the many space friends that follow your progress, and where possible guide you to your destined success. In time you will join us as equals, and we shall enjoy going into the universe and sharing many adventures. However, when you are once more completely of the light, you shall determine where your travels take you, as it will be your choice. Think big, dear ones, as you are destined to fully return to the light.
Thank you, SaLuSa.
All right, very nice message. Good message, message of change, positivity. Remember, we're all in this together. No matter what goes on, all of us together, part of the same mind, experience. So if we work together, it's good. It's good. All righty. Today, we are on page 102, The Warrior of the Light. I always believe everything anyone tells me, and I'm always disappointed, his companions say. It's important to trust people. The Warrior of the Light is not afraid of disappointments because he knows the power of his sword and the strength of his love. However, he imposes certain limits. It is one thing to accept God's signs and to know that the angels use the mouths of other people to give us advice. It is quite another to be incapable of making decisions and always looking for ways of letting others tell us what we should do. A warrior trusts other people because first and foremost, he trusts himself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. And another breath, and feel this breath going through your body, and exhale. And moving through all of your cells, and just keep breathing normal. And feel this breath moving through all of your cells, relaxing them and cleansing them as they go. And as this energy is cleansed and cleared through your body, and you find it moving smoothly and freely, you find that your vision becomes clear. And you're able to look around at the world and see it for what it is, as a mind, a mental projection of the Creator, working in a co-production with each one of us. And so as we observe the workings of this, we understand the mental aspect. And so we just focus on understanding the mental aspect of all things by observing. So we go through the world today just observing the mind of the universe at work, observing the mind of God at work. And just through observation, seeing what it is that we learn. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey of observation. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. And that's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. Have an awesome day. Go out, observe the mind of the universe working, and see what you think. I'll do the same thing, and we'll reconvene tomorrow. Have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.